Hey guys, it's Ryan. Welcome to the second episode of The Advantage. I'm here today with the number one rock star in our office, Mr. Mike Perna. So Mike, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me. And after the first video, that's going to be a really hard one to follow up. Love the one with Wendy. That was amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have any dogs and no people in the background.
Yeah, we're doing it in a little bit more professional environment, so hopefully there will be no licking of my face going on.
Right.
At least there better not be.
No.
That'd be awkward, so. Cool. Well, Mike, let's get started here, man. So tell me a little bit about like your background and stuff, because I know you as this awesome professional, right? But where'd you grow up?
Yeah. Actually, I grew up not too far away from here in Farmington Hills. Originally born in Woodhaven. When I was 4, my parents moved up into the Farmington area, looking for school districts and things like that. I was a lot closer where my dad worked in Pontiac at the time. This is a heck of a commute to get from Woodhaven to Pontiac and back every day.
Yeah.
So moved to Hunt Club over at 11 in Halstead. Went to Farmington Public K to 8. Went to University of Detroit Jesuit High School and Academy. That school's got all the words for high school. And then Wayne State for college, majoring in business administration.
Okay. So you went to college at Wayne State.
Yeah. Went to Western first. Had a lot of fun at West, too much fun at Western, a lot of fun at Western, and then went back went to Wayne State.
Nice.
Or came back to Wayne State.
So just a general management degree then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, general management, all the wonderful things that I don't use at all on a daily basis.
Okay.
At all. Which is, no, and it's a, let me say this, it's a fine degree. It's definitely any degree is a fine degree to have. However, I've found that I've learned a lot more through the quote-unquote, Keller Williams MBA university degree. The books that Gary makes us read, I will use the word make because some of them are very dry. The books that Diana recommends, if you ever watch like the One Thing podcast, they have a lot of different recommended readings on there. Being in coaching for 9 years running, that's where I really learned the nuts and bolts of how to run a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I did accounting and finance at U of M Dearborn, actually, and it's like
Yeah.
I can do a few math problems, basically.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you got to be in the trenches for sure. So, did you start real estate right after you got out of Wayne State?
Yes, absolutely.
What year was that?
That was in, that was 2001. Which now I'm showing my age. I'm not the young kid in real estate anymore. I used to be. It was great. There was a time. There was a place. You can ask Pete Costa, broker of record, about that. He's got all the stories and knows all my skeletons and where all the bodies are buried, for sure. Pete's been here the whole time, which is amazing and extremely supportive. I will say that. But so I started in roughly 2001, 2002. Started at a different brokerage. My intention was to pay for actually a master's degree, pay for my college degree, my college education, and get out as close to debt free as possible. Right? My intention wasn't to be a full-time real estate agent forever. Right? It just kind of happened. And as I was going through, I realized, okay, I'm having fun. I'm making a good living, far better than I could make. Working, how I wanted to work and with whom I wanted to work. So I decided just to continue on that career path and make it a full-time gig. During that time when I was at the other brokerage, there was a college class I was required to take, and so I gone to the team leader at the time. But they didn't call them team leaders at the brokerage, but team leader, and just basically said, "Hey, listen, so there's a college course I need to take. I won't be able to do team meetings for this quarter because it meets on top of the team meeting, and I won't be able to do," now I'm really showing my age, home tour. Do you remember what home tour is?
I was not in the business for home tour.
Oh my gosh, okay. Well, I was in the business for home tour, so I'm showing exactly how old I am now. And for everybody that doesn't know, literally, you get into a car and you go see all the new listings physically that the brokerage took in the past week. It's horrible. It is a horrible, painful experience and a waste of a day. So essentially the broker said, okay, so here's the deal. You can either be a college kid or you can sell real estate, but you can't do both. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I could do both, but maybe just not here. So then I left.
Interesting.
Yeah, and now I'm here.
Okay, so just one other brokerage then before coming here.
There was one other one. So between there and here, there was another broker. Actually, different brokerage. Jim DeMora was here, but that's where I met Jim DeMora, was showing one of his properties and potentially writing an offer, end up writing an offer on something else. And I was at that brokerage. At that point, I'd become the second top producer to the broker themselves. I went from a bigger office to a very small mom and pop shop thinking, okay, if I got out of the bigger office and went to the smaller office, I would get a little more attention, a little more training, which actually, funny enough, was absolutely not the case. It was the opposite of the case. And Jim had given me a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which had been out for, I think, 3 years at that point, or 2 years at that point, whatever it was. I'd never read it, wasn't aware of it, really. I had a few other real estate books I was working out of, but that one I hadn't received yet, or hadn't read yet. So I started reading through it, and I realized, okay, I'm hitting my natural ceiling of achievement because I'm not moving from E to P. I'm not moving from entrepreneurial, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, to purposeful. And the next step in my stage of the game was to go get an assistant, or at least begin to prepare my business for an assistant, start working on checklists and things like that, and just get ready for it. My broker convinced me at the time that that was definitely not a good idea. Should I go get an assistant, all my clients would leave me because I'd be giving worse service, not better service, because I wouldn't be giving personal service. Anybody who's watching this knows that I'm actually not a good real estate agent at all. Like, I'm really, really bad at my job. So that was definitely not the truth. Like paperwork, I'm just horrible at. And people are laughing like, oh my gosh. But it's true. Actually, pretty much all of it. I'm just not great at. I can't figure out what I'm good at yet. But, the hiring thing really spoke to me as, okay, if there's a thing that you're not great at, there are people out there that love doing it and can do it at a high level. So get them involved in the business and then let them fly with it. And that's when I made the leap to Keller Williams, was when my broker basically, at the time, was like, nope, having an assistant isn't going to work. Your business is going to crash and burn. This is not a thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So during all of that, I got two questions for you, actually.
Yeah.
Did you end up finishing the graduate degree?
Mm-mm.
How far did you get?
Not far enough to finish. I think I'm 6 classes away now.
Okay.
That's about it. Yeah.
Do you ever think about going back just for giggles?
Talk about it.
Have you?
Yeah. Actually, I gotta be honest, what I really want to do is I'd like to go back and get my law degree. I love history, is my first love. But I think a law degree would just be a lot of fun. I would love to walk in and be like, well, I'm a lawyer. And then like slap like a folder on the table and then walk out of the room, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, okay, so would you do like real estate law, or like what kind of law would you do?
Oh, I probably never use it because I actually really enjoy what I do now with the team and working with people in that aspect.
But I mean, it could be,
But it'd be-
marketing.
Yeah, I think it go well with the marketing, right?
I think
Or I can market that. So I'm an attorney as well as
Or do you want somebody who knows the law, right?
Yeah.
Could,
no. I don't know. We do have an attorney on the team, which is funny. And he was an attorney. He was a real estate attorney for a long time, and then departed it because he just didn't feel the love, didn't feel the enjoyment. They wanted to do something that was more one-on-one with people, especially doing more positive things with their lives. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so he opened a comedy club. True story.
Okay.
And now he actually works for us as a recruiter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's...
That's Dan. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just met. All right,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, he owned a comedy club in Ann Arbor for quite a few years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so second question to that then is, if you were in hiring you, right, if there was somebody on your team who came up to you and said, hey, I can't make it to these team meetings because I got this class to take, what would you say to yourself?
Oh my God, that's a horrible question. Is this getting emailed out to the whole office, or like is my team on that email thread?
I believe they are.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not
All right.
positive, but
I guess it would. I guess in all reality, it would depend on the situation. Like with our team, we do requires people to be in at a certain time to get the prospecting done. It's great when people are prospecting together, and the culture, the energy, wins beget wins, which is awesome. But everybody can also have either, be late on a day or be missing for a day. So I'd say to that person, okay, if it's like 1 day a week, that's fine. If it's 2 days a week and it's a course that you absolutely need to take and we can't work out a different way, then let's redo the lead generation for a different time of the day, and then hold yourself accountable to getting it done, which means as soon as that is done, wherever the dial count is, contact count is, appointment count is, I'd expect a text message at the end of that saying, okay, it's done, here are my numbers, and also here's my numbers in the dialer. I always want to try to work with somebody on like where they need to be, and at the same time, they've got to put the effort in, just like the rest of the team is, because the rest of the team is putting in the effort. And this is one thing I've learned on the business side of it is, if people are starting to flag and people are starting to waver in their commitment to the team to close X amount of deals per week, month, not week, but month, quarter, and year, it limits the income the team has with which to go get additional closing coordination help, additional lead generation services, systems, trainings, bringing people in to do training. All that becomes limited because a few people choose not to lead gen. And it gets really difficult really fast.
That's a good answer.
That was a very convoluted answer.
Sure.
I definitely went down like 3 different paths with that one, but that's okay.
You answered it though pretty thoroughly. Okay, so with that being said, do you have anybody on your team right now? Like, do you guys hire?
We have a lot of people on our
if you
team.
will, or like people that have other careers, or?
No, we don't have part-timers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If somebody will be full-time, let's say in 60, 90, 120 days, and they're stepping into it, but there's a definite plan that's a max 120 days out, then yeah, we'll take somebody on like that, especially somebody new that's like transitioning into real estate out of another career. That's great. But as far as part-timers go, we do not take part-timers, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to jump back into like when that switch made from doing real estate just to fulfill your student obligations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But real quick before that, like you mentioned your dad worked in Ipsy. Did your mom work at all?
Yeah, well, my dad was in Pontiac.
Pontiac.
Yeah, my mother, she was in real estate as well for, I think, 8 or 9 years, something like that, which is kind of how I got the bug to do it. Not, from the standpoint of I was watching her very easily sell, 2 to 4, $300,000-$400,000 homes a month because of the groups that she kind of moved through, and it was a different time in real estate. Lead generation wasn't a thing, and not like it is today. And she also worked for the Farmington Hills Police Department in subpoena services for I want to say 18 or 19 years.
Okay.
Maybe 20. But yeah. So she worked in real estate herself part-time for a while, worked for the Farmington Hills Police Department, which was always fun, especially after I got a driver's license. And then she would definitely ask, she would definitely ask the police officers to pull me over whenever they saw my car, which was not nearly as much fun as it looks.
Are you sure that's what it was?
That's exactly what it was. And I'm going to stick to that story. That's my story for it. Yeah, and you can ask her. Yeah, I'm not giving her number out.
So, were you only a child? Do you have any siblings?
I have one sister, younger sister, and she's currently in Abu Dhabi. So she has a degree in HR. Started working where'd she start working right out of college? I think her first one was Bosch, but she wasn't there very long. So she worked for Bosch for a little bit, and then moved over to a company called Alex Partners, which is kind of during the down market. They help companies restructure like a lot of debt, and also restructure what do you call it, like their leadership teams, like Domino's used them when they restructure their CEO, CFO, all the C's with all the other letters after it. I'm sure there's more of them, CTO. And then as the market started rebounding and improving, Alex Partners itself, their business started drying up, and so she was recruited by a company called Audia, which is the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. I'm sure I'm missing a word in there, but it's the sovereign wealth fund of Abu Dhabi, the country, that they use okay, so essentially they sell a lot of oil, right? Easy enough. When they sell all the oil in the world that they have, they take all that money and they go invest it in things like commercial buildings or parking meters in Chicago. Like they own a bunch of those for some reason. But that's what they do, and so my sister works HR there. And her focus and specialization is in benefit management. So structuring benefits and compensation packages to be attractive to people from like England, Germany, France, United States, Australia to move there and work there.
Interesting.
So that's what she does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever do you go to visit her?
Yes, I've been twice,
Okay.
and it's an amazing country. I would definitely recommend going. It's about 45 minutes away from Dubai. That's kind of what the area is mostly known for, is Dubai, not Abu Dhabi.
Right.
It's amazing, and the people are amazing. They're so nice. Everybody is so welcoming. And I will say, as a country, their infrastructure is second to none. I mean, their roadways, their healthcare system, their education system, everything there it is so advanced because they have the income with which to do it,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. All right, let's jump back to Mike. So you started
Okay.
real estate to pay for school. At some point, there was a mental switch. So walk me through that. Like, when did that happen? When did it become
Yeah.
a means to an end to the end, if you will?
And I was watching a lot of people that were maybe a class or two older than I was. They were graduating, going out into the world, getting good jobs and things like that. This is before, the down market or anything like that had happened. But they weren't really making, trying to say this the best way possible. I was making double what everybody else was making third year out from college at that point. I mean, there were people 5 years out from college that couldn't touch what I was making in real estate, and more so than just being about the money. The concept of working in that officey corporate environment, but not really having an impact on somebody that you can that would know about the impact, if that makes sense, was an issue for me. Whereas like working with a family to help buy a home, or working with a family on a move, or to sell a home, it just seems so much more impactful and so much more like, okay, I'm working with this family one-on-one, versus, okay, I'm going to help solve this problem for this company, which really doesn't do anything. Or at least it felt like it didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You're making an impact, but it's less direct,
Yeah.
if you will, in that
Yeah.
case. Okay.
Yeah.
So you decided to quit school at that point.
Yep. Yep. So definitely quit school. That's all the advice I have for the children. Don't quit school.
You basically did
Yeah.
all the school, right? Like,
Yeah, all the school,
you did
but
the
then
extra credit, essentially.
yeah, pretty much. And then what was I going to say? But no, and real estate offered the opportunity to actually build a business and grow a business, pretty much however you want it to be. Asterisks, as long as you do what Gary says to do.
Right.
I'll put that out there. Yeah, because that's a thing. That's a real thing. Yeah. Yeah, you can build this business to be whatever you want, as long as Gary says that that's okay. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So then walk me through the progression, right? So what'd you do this past year?
I did not go skiing. I went to visit. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to think, what did I do this past year? Yeah, I visited my sister, and her and I went to India. It was fun. This past year I did 115.8 million, 592 units over 3 locations. Here in Novi, the hub, Rochester, Michigan, and Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing all right then.
Yeah.
All right. So
We're getting there.
Back when you were still doing school days or whatever, like how
Yeah.
did you start? Were you rookie of the year? Did you get off
No.
to a good start?
Nope.
Tell me about your first deal
No.
ever, actually. Do
Oh
you
my God, it was the
remember
most horrible deal in the history of deals.
that?
It was so bad. It was so bad. So I sold a condo. Oh my God, that was a horrible deal. So I was in school. I was doing all that, which is great. I was also bartending at Champs, and a friend of mine was a bouncer over at Fifth Avenue in Novi, back when there was a Fifth Avenue. And it was just one of those things where it's like, you go to the same place and you see the same people all the time. And so we got to know each other. I mentioned that I had gotten into real estate, and he's like, oh, no kidding, I'm looking to buy a house or a condo or whatever on a lake. So I sold him a condo over on Walled Lake. And literally, it was my first deal. There was no broker help whatsoever. There were inspection issues, and somehow we overcame that. In a time when appraisals were not an issue, there was a $15,000 appraisal issue. And this is like a $100,000 condo. I mean, even like seasoned agents at the office are just like, I don't know. Is it like, do we kill it? Like, what do we do? Like they didn't know what the next step was. It was funny because it just wasn't a thing. We had the seller take a washer and dryer. We had the seller overstay occupancy by a week and a half. We had damage done. I mean, I swear to God, like everything that could have. This was like a 6-month deal to get. It was like 4 months to get to the closing, and then another 2 months to get the lady out and everything. And then I was like, oh, this is the worst thing ever to happen, ever. This horrible. And then a week after the lady got the keys, I got a call from the guy. He's like, hey, like my client. He's like, I had so much fun in the real estate transaction, I'm gonna go do mortgages. So we literally partnered up for the next couple of years, and he was my loan officer for the next like 3 years.
Wow, so you guys both had so much fun, you thought, let's keep doing this?
Yeah, I was crying. I was about to quit, and it was bad. It was really bad. My second deal was a referral, and it was a gentleman I knew. Actually, it was a kid I knew's father, and the kid I knew from high school. And he was selling his home, but his daughter had lived in it, and she was such a hoarder for like 3 years. I mean, literally to the point that like there was trash in the house that was 3.5 feet up, and like there was a pathway in the house. So then we had to.
And that was like before the show, was it?
Yeah, that was before the show. Yeah, that was a fun deal. And then 2 days before the closing, it was the middle of winter. Of course, he shut off the gas and the pipes burst, and it was amazing. And it just got even worse from there. And fortunately, the buyer was also a contractor, so he made a deal with the guy to just take the insurance payout and just reduce the price by that amount instead of. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Or instead of reducing the price by that amount, should I say. So the seller could still pay off his mortgage, and the buyer had the funds with which to go fix the house.
Nice.
All these wonderful things that just happened to work out without any skill on my part because I had none, like totally happened for my first couple deals.
And now you've probably never had an issue since, I'm sure.
No. We don't really have issues anymore. That's what makes us the Perna team. We don't do issues. Yeah. No, we have all the issues.
That's awesome.
Yeah, mainly me. Yeah.
Okay. So you get through those 2 headaches, right? Like, so overall, like, what did it look like first year? Do you remember, like, coming into the...
First year, I did 3 deals total for around $400,000 in volume.
Okay.
It was pretty solid.
All right.
Yeah. I had a solid base to work up from. Yeah. For sure. Second year, I think I did around 9 transactions. No, maybe it was a little more than that. And then after that, it was never less than 20. And that was like the next 3 years. And then once I eclipsed 40 units, that's where I really started taking off. I was bumping my head up against the ceiling of time, roughly around 35, 40 units a year, where it was like, okay, I can't put in any more time because I do need to lead generate. I need to work the deals, and I need to go in the appointments, and they were almost 100% buyers. I need to figure out how to go and get sellers at some point in time. And that's when I made the move from one brokerage to another. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which brought me here.
Which brought you here. And so then you ramped up from there. So how many years did you do like the 35, 40 deals?
Like 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-ish.
And
Somewhere right around there.
Something clicked? Like...
Yeah. I looked at a couple other agents in the marketplace, and actually Jim DeMore being one of them, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a listing agent. So I sat down with Jim. Funny enough, I was going to do the farming thing, which seemed like a thing, right? And it is a thing, because I did it eventually. It was just far more expensive than I thought it was going to be versus prospecting. And I sat down with Jim and sat down with, over the phone, Kurt and Darla Bueller, They're over in Flower Mound, Texas. They do around 500 deals a year from farming, and they have been for like 25 years. They were like the original megas before they were megas. And Martin Boma, he doesn't remember this, but I took him out for lunch around 12 years ago, and that was cool. And again, same thing. He was one of the original megas. He'll be here in this market center tomorrow, maybe?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
That'll be before this video comes out. But.
Okay, so he will have been in this market center tomorrow,
So hopefully
back
you
in
missed
time.
it.
Yeah. But Martin is amazing, an amazing wealth of knowledge, an amazing human, awesome friend. I can't say enough good things about him, but at the time he was in the top 5 for Keller Williams, doing around 80 million a year when nobody was doing above 50. Top 5 for all of Keller Williams, and the most impressive part of that was it was almost 90% repeat and referral. And I was looking around at different business models to see where I wanted to go, and although I had designed out my farming plan, it took me like another 8 years to implement it, just because of sheer cost, frankly. But I started going down the prospecting route. So I picked up a prospecting coach, which was cool. Unfortunately, not KW at the time, but now KW or MAPS. And I was very scared of the phones, but I was okay with the door, which is a weird thing. I get that. So I started door knocking, and starting January 1st, I committed to door knocking at least 3 days a week, at least door knocking 8 homes. Was it 8 homes? 8 homes each day, so 24 homes a week. And I'd never in my career taken more than 5 or 6 listings in a year. And by June 1st, I had 44 or 45 listings, which is pretty cool.
From door knocking.
From door knocking.
24 houses a week.
24 houses a week. Yeah. I was listing
Do you still
around
see
6
that
to 8 a
kind of
month.
ratio?
I think it's a little harder now, but I think it's possible. I was door knocking expireds exclusively.
Okay, so it wasn't just like picking a random neighborhood.
Right.
And hit 8 doors.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I was door knocking expires. At the time, there was another agent in the market, 2 other agents in the market that went after the expireds hard. Not with KW, but I was able to crush because I showed up at the door, and so people felt that I cared more than the guy that just picked up the phone.
Right.
And it worked. It did work. I mean, all the emotion came through because they could see it of what I was trying to convey. Yeah. No, that was really good. That was a really good 6-month run I went on.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah. I think I beat Jimmy.
Yeah, and like
1 month. Yeah.
You what?
I think I beat Jimmy, or Jim Demore. I think I beat him like 1 month for number of listings. I was like, yeah. Yeah, that never happened again.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Well, and on the phone, so many people don't answer.
Yeah.
Right. That like if that's all you're doing is the phones, you're leaving a lot on the table.
Absolutely. Nowadays, I would say if somebody's going to do it, I'd say do a combination of both. Maybe do the phones in the morning for 2 hours or whatever it is, and then after lunch, before appointments, do the door knocking. Or any night that there isn't an appointment, go out there and get the door knocking done. Door knocking does work. One of my coaching clients right now, I finally, after like 3 months of talking to him, I've got him committed to door knocking 10 homes a week. And he's only been in real estate for like a year, but he's now averaging a listing every week. So 4 a month, which is not bad. Not bad at all for the time in the business so far.
That easily puts you like top 5%.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you switched to like a prospecting based at that point, right?
Yeah.
What were you doing when you're doing 20, 30, 40 deals a year?
Most of that was just, I guess it was prospecting. It was going to the bar a lot.
More of like.
Is this gonna be
relationships
edited?
and referrals. Yeah, but I'm probably gonna keep that in there.
Okay. Awesome. All right, I'm good with that. Okay. So, and that's it, right? It was sphere of influence and referral, but I was also 23 or 24, so like most of my sphere was at the bar. So I did go out, have dinner, would go to the bar. I was a bartender at the time, so I got a lot of business from just people that I was talking to while I was bartending, saying that they were considering selling or buying. And then also golfing, just taking my sphere and I used to play a lot more golf back then, and just going golfing a couple times a week and just inviting different people, because that was fun. And that's how I got the deals. Like literally, that was how I got them.
So did you keep doing that sort of stuff while?
No. All right. So the question was, before the camera shut off, and I hope this splices into it because it looks really fun when people move around like this rapidly, was could you make both a focus, either buyers or sellers, or do you kind of got to pick one? And Gary and Jay wrote a book on that, essentially. Yeah, called The One Thing, which is a fantastic book if you haven't read it. If you haven't read it, I'm in Austin's office. He has, I think, 17 copies of it. So don't tell him I said that. So, yeah, I do believe that that you really got to pick a focus of one of those to drive after, and then the other one will come as a like as a byproduct. So if you crush out the listings just by having the signs in the ground and sellers that need to buy, you'll have buyers. And conversely, if you crush out buyers, you'll get a few sellers just from people that have homes to sell as well as buying. Right? But if you're going to do it, in my opinion, make it a seller-based business. Focus on the listings. Everything else will come after that.
So, do you remember what year that was? Like that you switched to the...
Mm-hmm. I remember. I think that was 06. It might have been 07. What year was a really terrible year where everything just went down here in Michigan? Was that 6 or 7?
I think it started in 7.
7? Okay.
I'm not for positive though.
Yeah.
I was in high school until 06, so kind of naive to the economy.
I thought you were a nice person. Oh my God, that's horrible. So when that year that the market dropped was the year I went after listings. And I really didn't have any skill. I didn't know how to take a listing, really. I didn't have a listing presentation. I didn't have any scripts or dialogues or any skill set whatsoever. I didn't need it because I was the guy at the door. So I was clearly the guy that we should go with, I guess, right? That worked for me. And back then it was a lot easier because back then you didn't do price reductions. You just kept extending the listing till the market hit the value that you were trying to get. Like that was how you sold a house, right? Kind of like this market.
Up until the decline, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So the skill wasn't in the reduction; it was in how many times could you get an extension.
Yeah.
I mean, if the market's going up 10% a year, it's going to hit your number eventually.
Eventually, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Off by a little, small extension. Off by a lot, 2-year extension. But it worked. And then it was like all of a sudden somebody shut the music off. I remember it was like June of that year. It was like June of 07 or 06, one of the two, where just the showings just stopped. I mean, literally just stopped. Like the showings for the office itself went down, I think it was like 55% from like 1 month to the next. Wow. And we had a whole ton of listings in the Farmington Hills and Novi area. And that was the time when Farmington Hills just crashed. Subsequently, Novi crashed because the people that were buying in Novi were coming out of the home sales in Farmington Hills. And the reason why Farmington Hills crashed was because the people that were moving from, let's say, like a Redford or a Southfield at that time to the Farmington Hills, those homes stopped selling. And all of that stopped selling because the subprime lending stopped in Detroit proper. And it was literally over a 120-day period. It was like watching just a bomb go off, and it was amazing. And just seeing these communities, like over a 75-day period, drop $15 or $20 per square foot to get the home sold, like that quick of a drop. And then it was that slow decline over the next couple of years. I had zero skill or ability to get price reductions because I was kind of like, okay, we'll just keep getting extensions and maybe the market will come back. And it never did. And so then I had a bunch of angry sellers that just yelled at me a whole bunch. So then I went back into buyers for like 2 more years.
Nice.
Seriously, I totally ran away from listings. I'm like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like that's reading the market though, right? And going where the business is.
Yeah.
I get that. So, I mean, I know we lost a ton of people in the industry during that time, right? So what do you think was like the key to keeping you through it?
For me, I think it was, well, a couple of things. One of them was, there was a broker out there that told me that I was never going to make it in real estate and I was going to fail no matter what. And that always fires me up because several people have said that in my life, and that always fires me up to no matter what, I'm just gonna crush them now. I just have to. It's a thing. And I refused to leave the industry because I actually thought about getting out. I refused to leave the industry until I beat him at least 1 year. That just was not going to happen.
Interesting.
Okay, we can cut that out, right?
No, I love that.
Okay.
Like, I mean, because sometimes your why is as simple as competition, like that.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, I mean, like you can't dwell on vengeance, right? That's not healthy. But at the same time, keeping that little chip on your shoulder.
Keeping the fire burning in the back a little bit.
Exactly.
The coal banked, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted, yeah.
Games or anything like that, right?
No, and it wouldn't.
That's fair.
But it was just one of those things where I just wanted to just prove this guy wrong, that I can make it as a real estate agent. I can get this done. That, yeah, by actually building a business like a business, you know, the next step wasn't like, and not to be offensive to him because he does own a business and he is a nice guy in retrospect. He just did it different. You know, he went in and created a small brokerage around him, 15, 18 agents, which is great, and did that. And that was his answer to the next level. Versus Gary's answer to the next level for the mega agent was, okay, let's build a team. Right? So we just saw two different answers, and he didn't think mine was the right answer, and I didn't see his as the right answer at the time. Okay. That's okay.
So would you consider that your why at this point, or is there like other things into it?
No, it's other things. It's. I love seeing the people on my team just get these monstrous wins, which is awesome. Like today, I've got a person on my team that came up to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, guess what? My appraisal came in." And the backstory of that is, she's buying her first home she's ever owned, and that's amazing to me. That's way cool, and that's way cool that. I have an organization that was able to provide the opportunity for her to do something for her husband, her kids, her family that she hadn't been able to do before, and that's way cool, right? We've got a gentleman on the team that was able to buy his first home last year, and that's awesome. Seeing the growth of the people on the team and providing as much opportunity as possible to people within the team, that's what really keeps me going. It makes me want to grow the team. And I think we're the most fun place to be. So let's make it bigger.
So
we have fun.
Did you decide, at what point was it just Mike Perna out there beating the streets, knocking on expired doors, to now what you have with the team?
I'm trying to think. So I went through a couple of different, like 3 of them, I think. Like administrative assistants, and it was just a horrible experience. I had no concept to hire. Keller Williams has a class on this, by the way. They had one back then too, and I didn't know. So I hired like 3 administrative assistants in a row. It was a horrible experience. I had no idea what I was doing. It was more just like, oh my gosh, you're a nice person. I'm a nice person. Let's be nice people together and do the paperwork. And I'm not going to train you at all, even though you're not from real estate ever. Just okay, you do that, I'm going to go. Yeah, and that was basically my training module, right? It was horrible. So after 3 epic fails, one of which was probably the right person that I didn't realize at the time, I went and took Recruit Select literally 3 times, like back to back in a quarter. Like I took it wherever and whenever I could. And then I took 30-60-90, I'm sorry, Train, Lead, Motivate, to help me with building out the training portion of it. And then I took the process way slower. And it wasn't slower as in the amount of time it took for me to find somebody and hire them. It was still the same amount of time, which was about a month and a half. But by slower, I mean, instead of interviewing interviewing 4 people to hire 3, I interviewed 25 to get 1. And that was a big mind shift for me. And so I ended up having that person as an administrative assistant for, I want to say 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then the next administrative assistant that I hired after that to make kind of like my second assistant, Connie, who's still with us, has been in the organization for 6.5 years. Almost 100% consistently. She moved to Colorado, and she handles a lot of our listing closing coordination. And I mean, the technology was fine. Neither of us just thought of it for some reason. But so she had moved to Colorado, and she couldn't find anything she loved. I couldn't find a closing coordinator that I thought was amazing. So I just called her one night, and I was like, "Hey, what are we doing? You know, I know you're not finding what you're looking for. I'm not finding what I'm looking for. I'll just ship you a computer, and then we can just go back to the way things were." And it's been like that for like 4 years now.
Interesting.
Yeah. We talk like twice a year. It's great.
You talk like twice a year? Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
Yeah.
So she just crushes it for you, and you don't have to really.
No, she's amazing.
That's about.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
finding talent. Then.
Yeah, no, and she is amazing. That's the truth. And then I hired I brought a couple of agents onto the team. At that point, again, same thing, where I was just like I brought one guy on that just dominated, and then I was like, oh my gosh, if this is what having agents are like, then I need like 20 of them. So I just like, come on, everybody, and then like everybody jumped on the ship, and the ship sank because I couldn't handle the weight of all those agents. And then I started again rebuilding. I started building the buyer team. Because I was the one taking all the listings at the time, and and about a year after that, I was getting into the point of where I was losing almost as many listings as I was taking, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know, I couldn't handle the follow-up anymore for the max conversion rate. Am I saying that right?
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like I could have, there were more listings out there, but not more time to go get them.
Right. Okay.
You know, either on the appointment or on the follow-up to get them. So I was blessed to have 2 listing agents come into my life at the same time. One was Mary Jo, who currently runs the Novi team. I'm sure you guys have seen her. She's much nicer than I am, that's for sure. And then the other one was Stephanie Janica, who came from another brokerage, recruited over to Keller Williams, which I recruited over to Keller Williams, and then is on my team. And then came onto my team. So they both basically started at the same time. And 90 days after they came on, they broke my listing count number per month. I was averaging around 23 listings per month at the time. And I've been doing that for like a year. But they broke that number in 90 days, and then they just about doubled it 90 days after that. It was amazing. And they were fantastic at what they did. Yeah, and then Mary Jo ended up running the listing department, and subsequently now runs the Novi team, which is cool.
Very cool. So
Actually, it is very cool. Yeah.
How many people are on the team now at this point?
Can I call and ask?
Sure. Yeah. No, we can get back.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to that.
But I have subtitles or something like that.
Yeah. For the team total, including everybody, inside sales, agents in all locations, virtual assistants, administrative assistants, everybody, I think I'm hovering right around 50, give or take just a few. And the goal is to add an additional, 15, between, well, I don't want to say 15 to 20 because that sounds like such a pulling out of the box number. But the goal was to add 27 agents this year, and so far we've added 7. So there's another 20 to go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that was going to be one of my next questions. Where are you going from here? So just shy of 600 deals last year? Right?
Now I'm going to Disneyland. No, I already went there.
It's pretty nice.
Well, because Anaheim.
Yeah.
Because we had the family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from here, I'm going to go to Meijer and go grocery shopping.
He's a jokester, guys.
Yeah.
He's a jokester.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the answer without getting myself in trouble with my own team here. Well, namely Mary Jo.
Well, it
so
doesn't have to be real estate related, I guess.
no, I'll go with it. I'll go with it. So, like one major goal that we have this year is to finish filling out the 3 teams that we currently have. So in Novi, finishing out the hiring for agents there, which we need another 6 to 7 to really make that the level of fulfillment that we want it to be to hit those goals. And then Rochester, we need another 7, and then Ann Arbor, we need 9. So that, if we can get all of that done this year, as well as open up 2 additional locations, we'll be doing pretty well. Which would be good.
Do you already have your eye on those 2 locations?
No. I don't. I'm waiting for the right person to show up. And then wherever they take me is wherever we go.
Okay.
I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about where they are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me at all. I don't care. It could be Kalamazoo. It could be Grand Rapids. It could be Clarkston. It could be, Royal Oak or Downriver or Brighton. It doesn't matter. Or you could be out of state. It doesn't matter to me. If it's the right person, and I see it there on Austin's shelf. Third one down, second book from the right, and I'm going to use that loosely because there's 19 of Wendy Patton's books right there. I'm going to count that as one book. Good to Great. I believe the first chapter was start with first who, then what. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah.
Excellent.
Good thing I've read that book.
Yeah. So it definitely want to start with first who, then what. If I got the right person, I can go anywhere. But if I'm just forcing the wrong person into the right spot, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So any ambitions outside of real estate though, or not necessarily outside of real estate, but outside of sales? Or are there things that you're already doing that I don't know about?
Well, I guess so. Yeah. And I really haven't thought more than this business and the ancillary businesses that kind of tack onto it, so to speak, like title and things like that. But one thing that I think we're doing that's pretty darn cool is we started what we call the Perna Team Generational Wealth Fund, which is a company that we're selling shares of stock in to everybody within our organization and their extended family or their immediate family. Yeah, their immediate family, like parents, siblings, whatnot, at $1,000 a share, and then we're going out and we're flipping homes, buying rentals, things like that. Right, and actually we have one of the flips, or the first flip, should I say, on the market right now, and we have our eye on another one that we're going to hopefully get into right after this. But it's a way that everybody on the team, irregardless of how much they have to contribute, can get involved and take advantage of the real estate market and real estate wealth building opportunities. So now you don't need to have $100,000 to go do a flip or whatever it is. You can have one. And still make the same great percentages, still make the same great return on investments on the real estate that the person with $100,000 or $1 million does, which is amazing. When I first got into real estate, that was one of the things that I wanted to do. Was I wanted to be an investor and flip and rent and do all those things, and it took me a couple years to get there, mainly because I didn't have the capital with which to do it. Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This allows everybody on the team to kind of buy in fractionally and still get there.
Right on.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's fun, right? Yeah.
Very cool. So, do the team members, how involved are they in the flip process? Do they get to go and check on, where we're at with paint and flooring?
Absolutely. They can go there. The lockbox is public for the team to go there, and I think the only people that have been there are like myself and Mary Jo.
The rest of the people just want their check.
Yeah.
Send us.
Yeah. Well, and we provide pretty regular status updates with photos and stuff, so they see it.
Okay.
And plus everybody's trying to sell real estate, and it's the busy season, and
Right.
it is the busy season, especially right now.
For sure.
So I get it. So a few team members have stopped by, but the vast majority have just kind of watched the process and then done what they needed to do, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. And the way we're working it is anybody that brings the deal, they get paid on it as a buyer's agent, and then they get the listing back as a listing agent to list and sell it, and then so they get that advantage as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It works.
All right, so 2 more questions, and then I'll let you leave. All right. So first one is, what do you think makes him? And you're going to give me a super humble answer for this. I know you are. But what makes Mike Perna different than, average Joe agent, if you will? What do you think was the thing, either personality trait or work ethic trait or what have you, that took you from 20, 30 agents, which is comfortable living, to 600?
Honestly, I don't know. That sounds horrible, but I don't know. I think I did it because I wanted to see how far I could go. I'm not done with it yet. And conversely, I will say I don't think that anybody doesn't have that ability as well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Sort of?
I think it's just whether or not it's Well, it's what's important to you, right?
Yeah,
You're having
yeah,
your
that's
30
fair.
those years, and that's fine. You know,
Yeah.
sell your 30 and be happy with it. But
Yeah.
okay, so
No, I don't think there's anything outstanding at all. That I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah. Anybody can do it if they put their energy and effort and focus into it.
appreciate that. So the last question then is, if you go back to 2001, did we say it is?
Yeah.
2001, and you could talk to young Mike Perna, like what would you tell him? Like, now you know all this stuff,
Oh my
but obviously
gosh.
you probably can't, he probably won't be able to soak in all of that all at once, right? So
Yeah.
what's the one thing, if you will, that you would tell him to get him to not necessarily, I guess, to get him to where you're at sooner or to set you up?
I think the number one thing I would tell myself is don't give up. Stay the course. When it gets tough, just make another couple of calls. Knock a couple more doors. That's all it is. Do another open house. It's the difference between washing out and staying in the business. There's a lot of times that one or two extra deals that we need, and they're not that far away. They're not. It's just a little bit of extra effort. There were so many times when I fell back on the restaurant industry in the first couple of years, and that was kind of my scapegoat. But because I'm doing this, I can't do that. Because I'm bartending so many hours, I can't go and sell the real estate, and it just totally slowed my career down. So many times I wanted to give up. So many times I wanted to just bury my head in the blankets and be like, forget this. Real estate sucks. Like when 4 deals fall apart in 3 days and they're the only 4 you got, and it's like, all right, so there's the next 3 months of my mortgage payments just gone. All that work. It can get really difficult, but the wins are at that point a lot closer than it looks. The wins come after boredom and frustration set in. After that point. And I see this a lot where a lot of people give up on their lifelong dream and their passion and what they go after because it didn't work in the first 30 days. Right? And I'm reminded of that because I'm looking at the Gary Vaynerchuk book and I'm thinking about his Wine TV video. And I was there as well. There were so many times where it was like 90 days or 120 days into something, I almost just was like, forget this, I'm done. I'm over it, I'm getting out of the business. I'm gonna go find something else to do. I'm glad I didn't. But it would have been a lot less stressful if I knew that it was going to get better. So I guess I would tell myself, just stay the course. Make another couple of calls, to knock another couple of doors, do another open house, because it'll be fine. And it will be fine.
Beautiful. I really appreciate your time today, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you.
Guys, be sure to subscribe to this video, like, comment. We want to get your feedback from it so we can see what we can do to improve on future videos. But thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes.